Which job is a lot less fun than most people expect? Preschool teacher. Especially with new COVID-19 regulations. Ever try social distancing 3-year-olds? Oh my gosh. Build a bear. Weirdest and most frustrating thing. Granted, I didn't make it a super long time in the job, and seeing kids so happy is great. But they are really strict and the bad times get pretty bad. I'm a forensic scientist and it's literally the only thing people ask me about on dating apps. It's very technical work and it's extremely routine. Barnes and Noble. Your job has literally nothing to do with books and it obviously attracts a lot of that type. Myself included. Working in a flower shop. It's just like any other retail job. But people constantly tell you how fun your job must be. Also, helping grieving families choose funeral flowers is not fun. I'm a marine biologist. I spent the last week measuring defrosted fish heads. Well, I'm a scientist. I don't know if people usually think of that career as fun. But I think people think it's a lot more eureka. And a lot less this data has to be manually processed for 600 hours before I can analyze it. Not a specific job, but traveling for work. I'm in tech and a lot of people starting out talk about wanting to go to customer sites and get out in the field. I love to travel for fun, but it's hard to fit in the fun stuff when you have presentations and stuff to worry about, and a lot of times your customers aren't in the fun cities anyway. I also think I prefer the stability and day-to-day schedule of traveling less frequently. Video editor. The more I do it, the more I can't be asked. Although not necessarily bad. Beekeeping. Get used to the constant sound of buzzing during hive inspection/swarm removals plus wearing the protective suit in hot ass weather for hours on end. Give or take the situation. Also, there appears to be a large number of beekeepers allergic to bees, so EpiPens are a must. I always say the more fun it is to go somewhere, the worse it is to work there, like amusement parks and arcades. Baker. Coming into work at 3/4 am, so you can have a 6 am baked goods is miserable. Demolition. Everyone wants to break crap with a sledgehammer. Everyone is tired of lifting that sledgehammer by 5 swings. Nobody wants to load the broken stuff into bags or a wheelbarrow and take it to the dumpster. Video game testing. I've been working in the game industry for 6 years now, and teaching for 2. Testing video games is thought to be just, oh, you just play games all day. La 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 little, but it's actually very specific and arduous. First of all, there are a bunch of testing methodologies such as load/soak testing, white room testing, version testing, to name a few. But the most common one is functionality testing. Functionality testing is so, if I walk into that corner with a shotgun in my inventory, I can clip through the wall. But if I have my M16 in my inventory, I don't clip through. Paleontologist. You don't get to work with full dinosaur skeletons and do all kinds of awesome expeditions. You're mostly sitting at a desk looking at some pictures and logging stuff on your computer. Maybe examining a fossil occasionally. If you're lucky, you can go on a real dig. And OMG, spend hours in the hot sun dusting off rocks. Acting. All the ones we see on TV and movies are the 0.0001% of incredibly lucky and talented people who manage to thrive in a hostile and overcrowded industry. And even when you are working, the actual job itself is 99% sitting on apple crate in hot macup waiting for some grips to move a lighting fixture. Then you say 3 lines over and over again for an hour. And then you rap. Working in a music store. Musical instruments. Your days are spent listening to 50 different people play 50 different riffs poorly simultaneously, as if they are all putting on their own concert. Being a writer. I always thought it was my absolute dream job. But the only job I could get after college was working in a content mill as a blog writer. I used to work 70-hour weeks staring at the computer in a basement of an old bank writing bullcrap articles about the dangers of mold, fence cleaning, and why you need a commercial awning, and the dream turned into a nightmare. While I still write occasionally, I'm now working as a communications person, so it is a bit less heavy. Accountant. Everyone thinks it's all fun and number crunching. But the constant stream of women throwing their panties and wanting to bear your children is honestly exhausting. Trimming weed. IDKY people think working with weed is like working in the Willy Wonka factory. It's not. You literally get to make tiny cuts with sticky scissors for 8 hours. I have seen this question before, and then it was the keeper at the top comment too. Nice. Anyways. There's this making of Frozen too many doku. Most animators work weeks for a minute of animation of one character, if not less. At one point they decided to leave out a piece that one person had solely been working on. It must be crappy to be part of the credits without being able to say this is my part. Working at a Charles Dickens fair is interesting, but not incredibly fun. It is hard to stay in character, and people get so mad when they see the Alice in Wonderland area. Yeah. We know it's not Charles Dickens, but we can't have a kids play area in the world of Oliver Twist. Okay. Seeing all this makes me feel like I don't want to have a job, but instead live off fish, as in catching and eating. It's my favorite thing to do. Not the job of a fisherman. Flight attendant. I did it for a year. Think you're going to have a week-long layover in Paris. Guess again. You're working the red-eye to Detroit. Don't get too excited yet. You're laying over in Cleveland tomorrow. Couple that with the job being boring AF. You just sit around for hours at a time on the flights. And it certainly is much less exciting than you would think it would be. Archaeologist. Did it during my 20s and that was more than enough. Long, hot days. Living out of cheap motels on crap pay. And you typically find nothing more than some pieces of glass and broken pottery. Every once in a blue moon you find something cool. But those items generally end up getting stored away in a box full of other artifacts never to be seen again. Being a paramedic. If you work somewhere like Chicago, New York City or LA, yeah, you get stabbings and shootings, other varieties of murder on the regular. Most places the bulk of call volume is patients that don't feel well. The adrenaline-filled blood guts and glory calls are far less likely than the media would imply. Being a chef. All the flair and awesomeness they show on Vice and Netflix is far from what actually happens in the industry. It's not all fancy plates and tattooed/cool haired guys doing their thing. It's a drug-infested, law-breaking work environment that only benefits the owners of a restaurant. Edit. Thank you for the love and good reads, people. I have some insane stories I'll share someday. For those asking, I'm a sous chef at Michelin level restaurants nowadays. Not a chef de cuisine yet. Edit 2. You guys are insane. I once had a server approach my table and asked where I work because he noticed the scars on my arm. Strong. Librarian. It's not all books and being quiet. There are also spreadsheets. Cybersecurity. Bro. The movies do us no justice. Hacking is not as fast, nor is it as easy as the media makes it. It's a great field, but you spend a lot of time researching or watching paint dry. Especially in the gov side. Edit. I'll never be able to answer all of your questions. I'll answer some PMS as I get a chance. Edit 2. No more questions about the field. Getting spammed. Honest most freelancer. Any job/every job. Until you've done it, you only have an idealized version of it in your head. Bar bouncer. Hours of tension and boredom interrupted by moments of adrenaline-fueled fear for your life. Then some asshole pukes cheap booze on your shoes. Edit. I was 19 when I started. And I thought I would be getting paid to meet lots of girls and listen to live music. Which I did. I also had knives pulled on me. Endured threats on my life. Got my nose broken. Not even in a fight. And stood around and did nothing most of the time. You don't get to relax. Though. Because you're constantly looking for trouble. Awful job. I write adult fan fiction as a side hustle. After a certain point it's just like writing a paper. Except you have to keep thinking of different synonyms for a penis. I'll take things that involve customers for $800. Alex. The keeper. Don't get me wrong. It's awesome to be around so many amazing animals and care for them. But the smells are ridiculously, insanely foul. I have a really strong stomach, and it's still tough for me. We've had some interns quit over it. I was warned about the smells when getting into the field, but thought, oh, I volunteered at animal shelters. I know what animal stink smells like. Nope. Not even close. Managing a dog hotel. Breaking up dog fights. Dogs crapting in the lobby and the occasional awful owners. Edit. Thanks for all the upvotes. Sad my most popular comment is about my job lol. Pilot. You could lose your career with a single illness or injury, which could be happening to me soon. Video game tester. You aren't spending your time playing completed fully realized games. You are playing the same level of a game over and overseeing if there are bugs. After reading through this thread for 20 minutes, I've concluded that every job sucks. Teacher summers off. Cool week for Thanksgiving. Cool 2 weeks for Christmas. Cool entitled parents. Crap school district and administration wanting you to do 2 different things. Crap the kids. Sigh okay. I love the kids so much, but they absolutely break your heart 100% of the time. There are assholes. Sure. Those aren't the ones who break your heart. It's those kids you can't help. Whether it's from a crappy home life, bullying, or they just aren't smart. It's those kids who you go above and beyond for. But at the end of the day, you can't be there for them all the time. Gamma Master at an escape room. It's the same repetitive script. Resetting the same stuff. Giving clues and hints about the same things. The patrons are often competitive families who argue. Obnoxious impatient 13-year-olds. College students who have been drinking. Idiots who break crap and touch crap that I specifically told them not to. They never remember your initial instructions. If something gets broken during one group, you have to hurry and fix it before the next group. Working at an amusement park. Accounting isn't the adrenaline rush that most people think it is. Teacher. Children are psychic vampires. Video game developer. Non-indie. They are notoriously overworked, especially during crunch time. The field is highly competitive too. So I imagine, if you have the slightest issue with work, being your entire life, it wouldn't be hard to replace you. Voice acting is also pretty brutal. Voice actors generally don't get paid very well, and they are straining their throats, or whatever. Event planner. It's hell on earth when you have a million things going on and you're waiting for everything to come together. An artist. Time management is very hard, and it becomes more of a job instead of fun hobby. Elementary teacher. Lifeguarding. Everyone expects Baywatch act. Saving lives all the time. But it's usually just sitting there blowing your whistle telling little craps to stop ducking around. Theme park security guard / ride assistant. Yes, they're the same job. People constantly come at you with the stupidest questions and entitled attitude. All the while your bosses force you to work extra hours every day because they don't have the nerve to tell people to go once it's closing time. Forensics DNA specialists. You think you are gonna be a BC Otto from SIS, Wendy Sims from CSI, and others, working in a cool, open lab, hand in hand with the detectives, solving crimes, putting away the bad guys. Nope. Just wall-to-wall stick swabs. Big stick, small stick, young stick, old, white stick, black stick, shy stick, bold, clean stick, crusty stick, cut stick, whole, spilt stick, pierced stick, shriveled stick, troll, macro stick, curved stick, mushroom stick. Wait. One. So many sticks. Too many sticks. Sorry boss. I'm just gonna go. Veterinarian. Truly shocked that nobody has said this one yet. We have the highest suicide rate of any profession. It's a lot more talking to people about money and a lot less doing medicine and saving animals than people hope going into it. Not all of the animals are grateful. Some of them want to bite you because you're hurting them, and they don't know it's in their best interest. Clients can be hugely manipulative jerks. There's lots of student debt. And don't get me started on near constant exposure to low levels of anesthetic gases. Edit. My colleagues showed up. So for anyone struggling, I want to leave this. Not one more vet. R&D or product development. Very high pressure job. Since you bleed a lot of money and need to produce for the company to be worth keeping. You basically need to invent things while making sure that others haven't done it the same way. While other competitors have their own people doing the same simultaneously. There isn't any guarantee that 2 or 3 other companies are doing the exact same thing and are further into development while you're conducting preliminary trials before your invention disclosure. Months of work and millions of dollars can go down the drain if you are too late. Engineer. I grew up loving planes and space travel and being interested in how things work. I loved cars and motorcycles and anything mechanical or electrical. The reality is that you sit behind a desk likely making subcomponents at best and dealing with issues that arise when it doesn't work with another component for the final product. Most engineers will not use even half of what their degree was for. Please note that of course there are exceptions. And many engineers get to do really cool things for their whole career. I'm just saying that most don't. Working in a cinema. People seem to think it's great fun, and we get to sit and watch films and eat popcorn. In reality it's a quarter doing film programming /ML/ caching up. A quarter dealing with technical problems when one of the 1,000 pieces of tech you use breaks. A quarter is dealing with complaints about other customers or said tech issues. And the other quarter is spent trying to avoid all of the above. Edit. I should say I'm not a customer assistant, but part of the management team. Having a life is a lot less fun than most people expect. I honestly think being a streamer and a YouTuber is a lot less fun than it seems to be, but a lot of people know that by now. Still though, it doesn't seem unfun.